Hi, this is about your fourth day. So when I've been on retreats, they generally go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And one of the ones, which was in a retreat group called Search, which made a huge impact on my life, unbelievably powerful and important. I don't know if I'd be doing this right now if it weren't for Search. Anyway, in a Search, the fourth day talk was essentially about what you're going to do with the rest of your life. You know, after finishing the retreat, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what are you going to do on Monday? And the fifth day is the end of our life, by the way, in this kind of thinking, is the end of your life when, we go before God and figure out how it all turns out. But fourth day. Also, though, not just in retreats, but if you think about it, with the Easter Triduum, 3 days, that's what that means. Friday, Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the resurrection, and the first people experience the resurrection. What do they do next? So what are you going to do after your confirmation? What are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I thought this would be a good time to talk about it. This is not going to be very long. If you have had a spiritual experience through any of this that's been really powerful, it can be easy to lose that. C.S. Lewis talks about the law of undulation. That's this, okay? We go up and we go down. So one day, you know this from your own experience. Everybody has this experience. There's some days you feel on top of the world. There are other days where not so much. Some days you just feel like everything's a wreck and you just can't go on. I tend to swing pretty hard from up to down. That's been my whole life. I have learned to deal with it. I guess if I were going to give you some tools to help with that part, the one is that I remember when I'm down, I remember that things will be up again, because it's always worked that way. Nothing is all the way down. On the other hand, when I'm having a really good time, when things are looking good, I remember they'll go down. So I think that instead of the really a lot, it kind of takes you a little more even, because when you get too high, you kind of go, well, remember, it's going to go wrong. And when you're really low, you can remember, hey, it's going to get better. So maybe that'll help somebody. If you tend to be the same all the time and you don't have ups and downs like most of us, this may not make any sense. But anyway, for a lot of us, we have our ups and downs. So maybe that's helpful a little bit. If this has not been a particularly spiritual experience, if you really haven't had anything like that, it really comes down to just seeing going forward whether you will seek that. There's an old saying, I hope I'll get this right, that not all those who seek find, but only those that seek find, or something like that. I don't know, something like that. But the idea is that if you're not looking for something, you probably won't find it, probably. But if you are looking, you may not get it quick. It may not show up soon. And so I would encourage you to read the scriptures, read some of the catechism. It's a good read, more so than people give it credit for. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It quotes a lot. And you might find something you like and then go find the thing it came from and get something from it. But try to keep moving. There's a saying that, I'm going to give you a bunch of sayings. The rudder on a boat only works when the boat's moving forward. So if you want to steer your life, if you want to get anywhere, you've got to keep moving. You can't just sit. It's so easy to just go back and spend all your time playing games, or all your time chatting on, I don't know what, making videos where you're pointing, stuff like that. The TikTok stuff and everything. I don't know what you do. Probably none of you do this, but if you do, keep it to reduce down to an amount that's right. But spend some time working on yourself. Develop your talents. If you play an instrument, you know that you have to practice a lot. You've got to play. If you work out and you want to get strong or you want to get faster. In my case, I just want to get to where I can run longer without stopping and, do a better 5 or 10 mile, eventually 20 something mile run. You just have to do it. Man, I just went out yesterday and went running, and it's a funny thing. I love running fast. I like going fast, period, but I like running fast. The problem is that because I don't do it enough, I can't do it very long. And then I have to walk because I get all tired. And when that happens, then it's no fun. And I get discouraged. And now that I'm really trying to push myself a little bit, and I'm going like 5 to 7 miles at a time, trying to work my way up this summer, trying to work my way up that I can go 25 to 30 miles, all in one go, which takes way too long. But the point is to work up to that, I've got to get through this period where it's boring. And when I bicycle, I will listen to lectures, which are wonderful lectures on the faith or on history, on, I'm starting one now on the Federalist Papers from back in the, late 1700s from the United States. There's just, anyway, the point is it's boring and I can't always fill the time with something. And I can think and the things that I talk to you about here, I spend time thinking about when I'm walking or running. But, okay, so where did I go with that? I just have to get through the parts that aren't terribly fun to get to my goal. If I want to get where I can really go a long distance running, I'm going to have to go through a long distance walking. That's just the way it is. And that's the same thing as if you have a job and you want to do something for a living. I've had friends that want to be doctors, and the amount of stuff they have to go through to become a doctor that is not fun is a lot. I mean, it's not just a lot of study and a lot of hard work. It's exhausting. But some of them do it. And I can tell you stories if we had time. So that's something to think about. Be yourself. You saw the Asch conformity experiment, the thing where, the lines were different lengths. How that if other people in the room all said that B was the same length as the line, that everybody else would do it too. And that nobody would go against it, or very few would go against it if everybody else said it looked that way, even though it was clearly wrong. And that's the way that people are, and it's very hard to get over that for some of us. Some of us just naturally tend to be different. For me, I've always been different for other reasons that, I don't know, if you ever see me around getting lunch someplace and you want to come over and ask me, I'll be glad to answer that question. Or you can, I don't know, I should do a video someday. But through a unique set of circumstances, I kind of got saved from that. But most people, they really feel the pressure from other people. So some of you will have to fight that. And again, your fourth day, the rest of your life, it's some things we have to fight every day. If you've been struggling with drugs or drinking or sex, and there's a couple of different ways that can go, including pornography. If you've been struggling with those things, I feel for you. And, we all struggle. Some things, weight, some people have a hard time with their weight. And I don't mean just being a little overweight. I mean where it's impacting their life and health, or will in a few years. Anybody that struggled with these things, we're all in this together. We all struggle with something. So find what it is you struggle with and then go struggle with it. And for the rest of your life, you may have to fight that. You may possibly get over something. That'd be fantastic. Use the sacrament of confession, of reconciliation, where it makes sense. Not everything needs to work that way. If you're having a hard time, no, I don't think I want to tell you that. You know what? Use it if you think it'll help. Certainly if there's mortal sin involved, you should use it. But use your own best judgment. Some things you just have to work out on your own. Other things, getting a good counselor, a priest. A spiritual director is a thing. You can actually go to a priest and say, I'm looking for a spiritual director. And they may tell you, well, I don't do that, but they'll refer you. I don't know. Be very careful who you get. Yeah, some can be very bad. Okay, that brings us to another thing for your fourth day. Don't just let anybody go walking barefoot through your mind. Be careful who your counselors are. Be careful who you trust. Just because somebody's a priest, bishop, pope, nun, anything, just because they come off as religious or have a religious title, or because they're a psychologist, or because they're a family therapist, or anything else, doesn't mean that automatically you should trust them. It says in Scripture, test every spirit, retain that which is good. So test everything. You have a right to. If something doesn't seem right to you, if something feels wrong, if something feels creepy, if something is cringe, somebody said that cringe is what failed spirituality looks like. Somebody's trying to be spiritual. They're trying to look good and they miss. And it's just not, it's like, oh, cringe, I don't know if you know this term, but anyway, trust yourself. If something feels creepy, get away from it because it's probably bad. Now, sometimes you look at things and say, ooh, that's scary to me. Maybe if you were thinking about becoming a priest or a sister or a brother or something, and you go, oh, that's a scary thing because what would I do? How could I live like that? Well, that's scary. That's not cringe. That's not that awkward, icky feeling where you're talking to somebody and you just suddenly realize that, ooh, this just feels wrong. So trust your instincts, but evaluate everything. Evaluate everything. Think. Listen to your heart. Listen to your head. Fill your head with good information. Learn. Study history. Study the teaching of the church. Study math. Study science. Study literature. But study. Pour things into your head and let that all swim around in there and just see what you make of it. And some people I know are just not into this. Okay. Listen to people. Get around people. Be friendly. Be careful. Don't be around people that are going to hurt you. But just check out life. Look at what's going on in the world. It's so easy to go wrong. I know it's easy to go wrong, and some people will say, don't tell people to do that because then they're going to hear bad things and they're going to buy it, and then they're going to fall into something that's going to be really unhealthy for them. But I don't know what else to tell you. You have to learn. You have to get experience in life. Very few people can do well without paying attention to what's going on in the world. So anyway, I hope that some of that is helpful for you. And I'll leave you, strangely enough, I'm not a big nut on psychology and stuff, but with the psychologist, Carl Jung, I'll leave you with a quote that basically what he's saying is, if the world asks you who you are and you don't have an answer, then they will tell you who you are. Don't let anybody tell you who you are, except God. And God says, you are my beloved child. God said, I made you in my likeness. I made you in my image. I made you with intellect and will. You have freedom to choose, and you can choose well, and you can love. Or you can withdraw into yourself and leave him. But he loves you. Anyway, don't let the world tell you who you are. Be who you are. You are already who you are. Just grow and just have a wonderful time. I love you very much, and I want all of you to do well. And congratulations to anyone seeing this that's making their confirmation. Thank you.